Many years ago, I remember, oh, geez. Now I'm trying to remember. That's how many years ago it was. No, it's back in the 1980s. There was a very interesting news story that was in a lot of the native media at the time, and maybe some of you might remember this. But let me give a little bit background information. On most reservations, they have like a firefighter crew, and it's a seasonal job where it's mainly during the summertime. And in America, in the Rocky Mountains especially, there is always firefights happening. Not just there, but all over America, big ones. And I remember in the late 1980s, it was a rough time, yeah, because it was really, really hot one summer. And there was just lots of fires happening. Anyway, because of this, a lot of tribes have firefighting training and programs, and you have to go through a rigorous training, and then you take a test, and you have to be physically healthy for this. So you got to go to the doctor and get checked out. You got to be in really good shape for these jobs. So guys and gals, there are ladies in here too. Yeah, the ones who really take this serious, they're training all winter long. Yeah, and then early spring they get ready for the testing in the late spring. And when they pass, they get a special certificate for that year. Because they got to do this every year. Yeah, you have to maintain not only your physical health but your alertness to be able to really watch the nature to see what the fire is going to do or what it most likely will do, and to look at it and add in the wind factor and make a good estimate of what's going to happen in the next few hours or so. Just things like that. I've some cousins that were on this, so I know a little bit about it. Anyway, it's a very high-paying job because it's very difficult work. It's very, very strenuous. You're working all day and you just sleep a few hours, and then as soon as you wake up, you're working. Yeah, you're not watching TV or no relax time. Yeah, you have to get up and get right on it again. Very difficult job. Native Americans, especially those who live where it's really hot, they can stand extreme heat temperatures more so than a lot of the non-native people. And just about every tribe has a crew. So they get the call, they all assemble at the local fire station. I remember seeing that. Sometimes we went and go shopping, then all of a sudden you see all these young Lakota people sitting around at the BIA fire hall waiting. Yeah, they're waiting for a bus to pick them up, and they're going to get transported to probably an airport, and they're going to get on a plane, and they're going to fly someplace to Colorado or California or Oregon or Idaho or wherever there's a huge fire going on. So they're all psyched up and ready to go. Yeah. They have their sleeping bags ready and their canteens and all their firefighting gear, and they're all ready to go. It's really exciting to see that, yeah. Anyway, so they're all in anxious, happy mood because this is what they do. Yeah, this is their job. And this is what they trained for all year. Now they're going to use their skills. It's very impressive. So this happens every year. And because it's such a dangerous job, they get paid really good. Yeah. And they eat good too. Yeah. When they're out there in the field. Because when you're going to have a firefighter working like that all day, he's got to be in a good spirits. Yeah. So they got to eat good food. And it's like a warrior society. Yeah. They have to watch out for each other and help each other. So a lot of these native firefighters are like this. It's very, very impressive. Yeah, very brave young men and women. Anyway, in the late 1980s, there was a crew from the White Mountain Apache tribe. And they were fighting a fire in Colorado, in southern Colorado. It was a very difficult one. The wind kept changing directions all the time. So this fire was going all over the place. It was a wildfire. And here, two of these Apache guys saw something in the flame. They thought they saw some men standing in the flame. These people in the fire, they were not burning, they were not in pain or anything, and they noticed they had really strange looking clothes. Yeah, very strange looking clothes. And one of the fire people looked at them and he had a really mean look. He was like angry. So immediately they told their chief, their firefighter chief, they told him what they saw. A lot of these guys are traditional. So the crew chief said, okay, everybody, load it up. We're out of here. And they understood. They understood that they have to be out of there as soon as possible. So they all loaded up their gear and they got the hell out of there as fast as they could. Now, nearby, there was some non-native firefighting crews, and they saw these Apaches leave. So they thought, what the hell's going on over there? Why are they leaving? Yeah, so they tried to stop these Apaches, but these Apache guys said, you wouldn't understand. There's something really bad's going to happen, and we're getting out of here. We're running for our lives. So these non-native guys, they didn't believe it. Yeah, they thought, shit, these fucking Indians are scared of anything. Goddamn, now it makes it harder for all the rest of us. That's what they were saying. Yeah, these white guys were saying that. But these Apache guys, they knew better. So they got the hell out of there, and sure enough, this thing turned into a monster really fast. And several non-native firefighters died because this fire grew so fast in just a few seconds. Yeah, in just a few seconds, this thing turned into a monster. And some firefighters got trapped in the ravine and they got roasted alive. They're crispy critters. So that was it. Yeah, that was all she wrote. Now, the two guys that saw the fire people, they had to go through a ceremony. This is something that's sacred for the Apache people. And I'm not going to say what it is because I have great, immense respect for the Apache. All I will say is that they had to go through a ceremony because, see, they saw something sacred. And when you see something this sacred, you have to go through some kind of a ceremony to bring you back to the ground, so to speak. Because if you see something like this and you're not a holy person, this could make you go crazy. It could really damage your mind. And you're going to have all kinds of problems, mental problems. And since the mind is connected to the emotions, you will have really weird reactions to certain things. All of a sudden, you're going to start crying for no reason at all. And this all is coming from that. So they have to go through some kind of ceremony to balance them back, to bring them back into balance so that they can be the normal people that they're meant to be. So that's what they did. They took these two young guys and they did one of their ceremonies for them and they managed to come out of it. They were okay after that. And they're still fighting fires after that. They didn't scare them away. They faced their fear and they continued. See, weakness is a good thing because it can teach you. If you deny your weakness or you try to force it into a strength, you're going to become overconfident and you will make a very deadly mistake. So with these two guys, they faced it and they continued firefighting for several more years until they hung up their boots. They were getting a little bit older now, so make room for the younger ones coming in. It's a true story. This was in the Lakota Times newspaper. And this is where I read about that story. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Fire people. Bet you didn't know there was such a thing. On the Lakota Star Knowledge creation story, it talks about a certain time period where the Wakantanka were allowed to create beings, and these beings had something to do with them. Now, I have to explain a couple of things here. Wakantanka is an organization. You heard me talking about the Christian brainwashing that happened on the early days of the reservation, and that because of that brainwashing, today most Lakota people believe that Wakantanka is God, a one God concept. But this is false. The ancient view is Wakantanka is an organization of many people. And there's more than one of these organizations. And they all go by the name Wakantanka. And the reason why they're different organizations is because each organization does their work a little bit differently than the others. The goal is the same. It's just that each group does their work a little bit differently. But they still get things done. So Wakantanka is an organization. And at the time of the story that I'm talking about, there was only one Wakantanka. And at that time, there were 8 members. Today, there's 16 positions. But at the time of the story I'm focusing on, there were only 8. There was the sun, there was the moon, there was the thunder being, the mountain or the rock. There was the ozone, there was the wind, the earth, and the water. So these were the 8 entities. And they do take on physical attributes. So during this time, the leader of the Wakantanka, his name is Shkun. He said that they should create beings. And so Wakia, the thunder being, creates more Wakia. And the water makes creatures that live in the water. The earth creates more plants and things like that. The wind creates something. And then Ia, the mountain or the rock, creates creatures that live in circular rocks. They're called Tunga or Tungashi. And now, today, they're known as Tungashila Pi. You might be thinking, oh, he said Tungashila, that's God. No, it's not. See, again, because of that Christian brainwashing experience, most people today, when they hear the word Tungashila, they think it's God. And no, it's not. Because there's more than one. There's a bunch of them. So plural is Pi. So they say Tungashila Pi. This comes from Ia. They live in circular stones. They're like helper people, special helper people. It's a very beautiful concept. So the leader of the Wakantanka, his name is Shkun. Shkun creates creatures that live in his realm. His realm is the ozone, which means there are creatures living in the ozone layer. In the 1990s, one of the space shuttle missions was going around the Earth for several weeks, and they decided to film one of the storms because it was interesting to see a thunderstorm from space. Because normally we see it when we look up in the sky, we see it from the Earth. But the space shuttle was providing a unique opportunity to videotape what the thunderstorm looks like from the other side, from outer space. And every time it flashed, they saw things. Yeah? You hear one of the astronauts saying Oh my God, it's a zoo up here. There's all kinds of animals living up there. Their bodies are very transparent looking, yeah, because they have to be able to live up there, yeah. So what they think they do is they eat the radioactivity that comes in from the sun. If these things were not in the ozone layer, we would all be crispy critters instantly. Yeah, the ozone really keeps the earth protected. And these creatures that live in the ozone, they're the ones that are doing the protecting. They're the ones that are eating this radioactivity. It's interesting, yeah? And every now and then, when one dies, it falls to the earth. So it might be raining or something, and then suddenly it looks like there's jello hitting the ground. Yeah, it looks like jello. It's very spongy and different colors. Yeah, it's like a jello factory exploded from someplace. But that's one of these things. It's dead now, so it comes back to the earth. People don't know that, but we knew that. It's in our stories. See, this is an example of the knowledge that these stories have. So we knew about these animals. It's a sacred work they do, yeah? Because of them, we can live. Because of them, the water is drinkable. You see that? Because that's the first thing that comes into the earth is the sun, the rays of the sun, and those rays carry radioactivity. If it wasn't for them, man, the earth would have been a desert long time ago. Life would not even have formed if these things were not in the ozone. Another member of the first Wakataka is we, the sun. And this guy created things from him. This is the fire people. They live in the fire. And their work is like a cleansing work. It's very related to Wakia. When there's a fire, these fire people show up and they nurture the fire to clean the area. Scientifically, this makes sense too. That's why a lot of times you see people or firefighters, they do a controlled burn. And the reason why they do that is to cleanse the ground so that more things will grow. Yeah, like more trees will grow and flowers and other kind of plants. And that's what Wakina does too. When she strikes the earth, she's invoking these fire people to come and cleanse the area after she starts it. See, it's really, really beautiful when you think about it. So this is why when Lakota people pray, they address everything. They address the four directions. They address the earth. They address Shkun, the ozone in the sky. And they address the sun. They address the moon. They address everybody and they give thanks. They're acknowledging that we are all connected, even to these fire people, too. It's a beautiful concept. Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful concept. So, in the Lakota Star Knowledge stories, these people, like I said, they live in the fire, and one of the things they do is cleanse the area. So, if you were to see one, you have to go get yourself rebalanced, because if you don't, you're really literally playing with fire on yourself. You could go crazy. They wear certain clothes with certain designs on the clothes. That's all I can say. I'm not going to say what the designs are. That's a sacred knowledge. Another person that the fire beings listen to is Heoka. Heoka can bring the weather. He can say, oh, everything is okay here, and oh, it's just nice weather here, and everybody's happy. and rejoicing and hail, because they speak the opposite of what they mean. What he's really saying is it's awful. The people need help. They're dying. That's what he's really saying. And so Wakea comes and does whatever she needs to do. If it involves starting a fire by striking the earth, this is calling for the fire people to come and to help in this process of cleansing. It's a very sacred thing. It's beautiful because they're doing this so that we may live. That's nice. I like that very much. I'm thankful for that. You see, a lot of tribes have the same belief. Not everybody does, but a lot of tribes do. So that's why when we start a fire, we pray, because there's fire people in there. Those are sacred people. Back to the story, these Apache guys, they knew what it was, yeah, because they know their culture and they know this, and they got out of there. So after that, a lot of other tribes started to train their native firefighters in this spiritual matter about these fire people, that this is a sacred thing and to respect it. So fire people is a very, very interesting concept. And it makes sense though, yeah? It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So humans are upsetting the balance of nature so much that nature is fighting back to regain that balance. And that's why when you see a fire person, they look like they're upset. Because they're upset at the humans. The humans are throwing the earth out of balance. Now, I read a very troubling story that there's a Japanese team of scientists. They want to dig away into the earth all the way to the center. And that's a no-no. Why would you dig into your mother like that? If they do actually achieve that, something really wrong is going to happen in the earth. Something very, very wrong is going to happen. So just think about that. And I will too. Anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because the more we know these things, the more we are aware of it, the more we see our interconnectedness to each other, and then we see more purpose in life. Then you're really on the road to love when you live like that.
Tukashela peta waka heya hoye wa yellow hay. Tukashela peta waka heya hoye wa yellow hay. Tukashela umakiayo wamaya gayo hey. Tukashela preta waka heya hoye wa yellow hey. Tukashela preta waka heya hoye wa yellow hey. Tukashela umakiayo wamaya gayo hey. Tukashela preta waka heya hoye wa yellow hey. Tukashela preta waka heya hoye wa yellow hey. Tukashela umakiayo wamaya gayo hey. Tukashela petawaka heya hoye wa yelo hai. Tukashela petawaka heya hoye wa yelo hai. Tukashela omakiyayo wamayagayo hai. To learn more about Lakota spirituality, I have written a book called Wichocha Otechike. This book also includes Lakota star knowledge information. All the videos that I make, which are about Lakota spirituality, Lakota star knowledge, and cultural information, are based on this book. This book costs 99 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. And to learn more about Lakota language, I have written a Lakota language book called Chante Etanha Owoglake, Speaking from the Heart. And all my Lakota language videos are based on this book. This book costs 119 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. And new for 2024, I have a new book titled Chekia, which means pray. This book includes a CD which has traditional Lakota prayers and traditional spiritual songs. This book cost 49 American dollars, and this price includes the shipping cost. I also teach online, and I give spiritual consultations as well. If you are interested in any of my services and products, you can send payment via PayPal to my email address, which is info@wolakota7.com. You can see the email address on the screen, and it's also in the video description below. When you send your payment, please include your shipping address and your email address. I do have a Patreon account, and you can see the link to that in the description below the video. Here you can also make donations to my channel, and you can also buy my products, my books, and my services concerning private Lakota language lessons and spiritual consultation or spiritual instruction. Again, you can see the Patreon link in the video description below. Ha, lila pilamayelo. Thank you very much. In the Lakota way, everything is circular. As a result, we do not have a word for goodbye in the Lakota language. And so instead we say until next time, which in Lakota is Doksha Ake. And I will catch you in the next video.